Alex Smith wants to play very badly for the Washington football team on Saturday night. That's an NBC game. The Buccaneers coming to town. Good news for WFT. Alex Smith was limited in practice on Wednesday with a calf injury, an injury that kept him from practicing Tuesday and that caused Ron Rivera to suggest maybe a quarterback rotation. Limited in practice also were running back Antonio Gibson with turf toe and receiver Terry McLaurin with the ankle problem that had him in a walking boot just a week and a half ago. So the pieces may be falling together for Washington. Not that it will matter, according to the odds makers, who still have the Buccaneers as 8-point favorites. But look, we've seen it. Anything can happen. Anything can happen.
Right.
Things happen. Stuff happens. And if they can get consistent pressure on Tom Brady and turn turnovers and mistakes and screw-ups into points, maybe it'll be close in the fourth quarter. And you just can't rule out anything.
You can't. Right. We would have never.
No matter how good you think a team is, you can't.
Exactly. I mean, we would never in a million years thought the Jets were going to go to L.A. and dominate the Rams. We never would have thought Washington was going to go to Pittsburgh and beat the Steelers that night they did. So you're exactly right. And, again, part of playing Washington and Tom Brady and all that is yes, avoid disaster from that front four. You have to almost be a little conservative that way because they can win the game. But those injuries, McLaurin and Antonio Gibson, man, they're big. They're the two best offensive players on that football team. McLaurin's a game changer. Now, he doesn't have a quarterback necessarily that can take advantage of his speed and what he can do, but he still is going to scare the hell out of a defense. And Antonio Gibson, phenomenal. But, man, he, to me on Sunday night, looked nowhere near 100%. Nowhere. He turf toe for a running back, man, forget it. Like, that is a brutal, brutal injury for those guys. And it looked like he was running on one leg. So that's going to be, something to look out for. And then, hey, for WFT, hey, WTF with the Alex Smith situation, okay? Okay? Like, come on. We can't throw him out there, and don't do that, what we just saw last week. That was, that was survival. That wasn't really playing quarterback. That was survival. That was like, let me find the first guy that's remotely open and throw it. I'm not going to wait for anything else. I'm not going to get hit. I can't run and move. If we're talking about rotating quarterbacks, then just start Taylor Heineke. That's all there is to it. You're answering the question right there. I mean, if you're talking about rotating, you're telling yourself, listen to it. You're saying one guy's not healthy enough to play. I know we're trying to pay him respect because he's the comeback player of the year and all the things he's done, but it, to me, makes no sense to play him if he looks the way he did last week.
Yeah, that's going to be a real challenge for Washington because he's clearly the better option. He's got great playoff experience.
Right.
He's been around for so long, and he puts you in a better position to win. And it gets back to the analysis we've had with other quarterbacks. What percentage below 100 are you willing to tolerate having your starter be?
That's right.
Versus the 100% backup in Taylor Heineke in this case. And but you're right. If he can't play the whole game, that tells you maybe it should just be Heineke and you should just come up with the best offensive game plan you can, unless they're hoping to stress Todd Bowles' defense to be ready for both guys. Things like that don't work very often, and I don't think it'll work for Washington. I think anything other than Alex Smith all game long is going to make it very hard for Washington to overcome the Buccaneers. The Seahawks trying to overcome the Los Angeles Rams. That's the middle game on Saturday, and the Seahawks beat the Rams a couple of weeks ago, but the Rams have done very well against Seattle in recent years. And one of the things Pete Carroll, the Seattle coach, is trying to do is keep the cards close to the vest about the availability of safety Jamal Adams. Adams apparently didn't get the memo. Here he is yesterday, addressing the question of whether or not he will be playing with an injured shoulder on Saturday afternoon.
No question in my mind. I'm playing, man. Yeah, hey, look, as long as these legs are moving, man, as long as, my faith is with the man upstairs, which is very strong, I'm going to be out there. So there was never no doubt in my mind that I wasn't playing, so let's get that out there. I'm full go.
Well, and if they win, hopefully he'll light the right end of the cigar when he celebrates after the victory. So after the last win over the Rams, lighting the wrong end of the cigar, or at least trying to. He's got a hand injury also. It's the shoulder that's the problem. Jerron Reed, defensive tackle, has an oblique injury, and Chris Carson, foot injury, all returned to practice on Wednesday for the Seahawks. So that's good news as they get ready on a short week, 1 day less. That's the thing. All these teams played Sunday. They got to turn around and play Saturday for these 3 playoff games, Chris, and they need Jamal Adams. Even with John Wolford, possibly, likely, whatever at quarterback, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, they need Jamal Adams.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, first off, this is why you get Jamal Adams, just like what you see in the I mean, he's going. It doesn't matter. I mean, hey, my shoulder's hanging by, a ligament. No big deal. I'm playing. That's the kind of guy he is. It is. He is so crazy and reckless on the football field, Mike, that when I watch him on film, I just sometimes go, man, he might have to dial it back a little bit because his career might not last as long. He's so unbelievably all over the place and has no regard for his body. Yeah, they need him. The energy he brings to that defense and this specific team, Mike, he's even more important with the Rams and what they do, right? The speed sweeps, the inside zone, the bootlegs. He's the guy there on the edge of the defense a lot of times to run down the speed sweep. Oh, here comes the bootleg out the backside. Oh, wait, I got the guy in the flat. I got to cover the crosser. Let alone he is their greatest talent on their defense and the guy that they can put in the most awkward positions. They disguise through Jamal Adams. You go, wait, they're not going to bring this blitz and blitz this guy and leave Jamal Adams on this receiver one-on-one. Oh, wait, they will, because that's right. He's so talented. He can play cover corner. He can blitz. He can play linebacker. So, yes, they do need him. And Jaron Reed's a big deal, too, because you got that Rams offense, and even though it's not sexy and fun, it's effective, that little combination McVay has with Goff or Wolford.
It was just 11 days ago that Rams quarterback Jared Goff suffered a dislocated thumb that he popped back into place and kept going. He had surgery the next day. There were screws in the thumb. They're not ruling out the possibility of Goff being able to play in that game. Here is Sean McVay, coach of the Rams, on Goff's ability to practice and potentially ability to play.
He went through what a normal practice would entail: ball handling, throwing some routes on air, getting a little bit of work off to the side when the defense was going, and got some stuff in, with our offensive guys. So he got what a normal practice would entail.
So he's practicing, and of course, they're not going to telegraph to the world what is going to happen with Jared Goff. They want the Seahawks to be guessing: is it going to be Goff? Is it going to be Wolford? I don't know how
it doesn't really matter
because the offense is fairly basic. It's not like all of a sudden they're going to have some guy out there that can do all sorts of special things at the quarterback position like a Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
But, and Chris, here's the problem for the Rams. If they win this game with John Wolford at quarterback,
no doubt,
that gives life to this argument that they shouldn't have given Jared Goff $33.5 million a year.
No doubt. I think that's why Jared Goff is going to play at all, exhaust all avenues to get out there, because he's going to be aware of that narrative. And honestly, what I want to see are the Rams going to sacrifice maybe losing the game just to not let that narrative become a real thing too? Are they going to just throw him out there even though they go, I don't know if this is really going to work, but we don't want to have to answer those questions? That is going to be very interesting to watch. Mike, you said it. The offense didn't change one bit last week. There's nothing that changes. Maybe a few things at the line of scrimmage like we talked about with tempo and I don't want to do this with my young quarterback who hasn't played a lot. But the plays themselves were the same plays you always see. And the thing that I would think like the Rams got to be a little concerned about is watching the game from 2 weeks ago against the Seattle Seahawks with Jared Goff with the bad thumb. Jared Goff is not a real great thrower of the football when his thumb is normal. And it goes way bad when it's not normal. He played horrible in their last game against the Seattle Seahawks there in Week 16. I mean, horrible. It was a pitiful performance. And that's got to be in their mind a little bit to go, wait, he wasn't good before he was injured, and then he got injured, and it looked even a lot worse. And are we really going to do that as a football team? That is going to be worth the price of watching here this week to see how that unfolds.
Running back Cam Akers with an ankle injury was a full participant in practice. That's good news for the Rams. And even better news, Andrew Whitworth, their left tackle and one of their offensive captains, plans to start on Saturday. He's been out since Week 10 with a torn MCL in his knee. He's back. He's ready to go. Not that the offensive line was horrible without him, but that's good. You get a guy like that who's got playoff experience back in the fold. It gives you a little bit of a lift. It gives you a little bit of boost, and you got somebody there who can maybe help give a little more protection to John Wolford if he ends up playing quarterback at all. Because, the possibility is Goff goes or tries to go and can't. And at some point, Wolford has to come in.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And Whitworth, yes, is he's a guy, again, he's a left tackle that you can just put him somewhere and go, all right, we don't have to worry about him. We don't have to worry about anything. We don't have to help him or do anything like that. And, hey, we've said it. The Seahawks defense, this is not the same defense we saw in the first half of the year. They're really damn good. They're good up front. They give you a lot of different looks and things like that, to where they're going to have to rely on the run game and have guys like Whitworth just be physically dominant at times if they want to move the football against what the Seahawks are doing right now. So, he's amazing. As amazing as it is that Tom Brady's playing at the level he is at 43, Whitworth is what? Is he 38, 39? To be doing that at left tackle is every bit as impressive as what Brady's doing at 43. I mean, to be able to play at that level and still do what he does is mind-boggling. So that's cool for him. Glad to see him out there.
Yeah, and look, just like with Drew Brees, this could be it for Andrew Whitworth. And there was some commentary yesterday from Aaron Donald. They have a high degree of confidence. And you don't hear talk like that from Aaron Donald. He's very confident that they have all the pieces of the puzzle in place to basically finish the job they started 2 years ago when they got to the Super Bowl and lost it. And there was a point this season where the Rams are the best team in the NFC. I mean, he's gone,
sure.
Is it the Saints? Is it the Packers? Is it the Buccaneers? Is it the Seahawks? Is it the Rams? These NFC playoffs should be awesome.
Yes.
And on Saturday, in that middle game, we will see two teams playing, both of whom are good enough to get to the Super Bowl.
They are.
And one is going to get kicked to the curb.
You're right. That's what's amazing. That's what the best thing is, when we get the best teams in the playoffs. And, you made the point yesterday. I know we got the NFC East. They ruined a little of that story. But I think other than that, we did get the best teams in the playoffs, which are going to lead to great watches. And you're right. Even though we got questions about both of these teams right now, Rams or Seahawks, we still know they're tough, battle-tested teams who have played a lot of close, meaningful playoff-type games, to where we've seen them win too many to just think, oh, they're not as good as the Bucs this year, so they can't beat them, or the Packers or anything like that. No way. No way. Not with Sean McVay, and what they do on the offensive side of the ball. And really the big thing is their defense is special. It's special scheme, and they have special players who can make plays to help them win football games just on that side of the ball. So I'm with you, Mike. That's secretly a really fun game that I think gets lost in the shuffle a little bit this weekend, because it's the third time we're seeing it this year.
And think about this. If Tampa Bay beats Washington, as it should, and if the Saints beat the Bears, as they should, it will be either Seahawks at Saints or Rams at Packers in the divisional round. And either one of those games, that's enough to keep the head coach of the home team up late.
No doubt.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.